In this month's Sci-Fi and Genre Spotlight, we have a number of really cheesy titles, but that doesn't make them necessarily bad, it just makes them cheesy. Sometimes a little cheese goes a long way. First up, we have Star Crash from Roger Corman, and it's the Roger Corman's Cult Classics collection from Shout Factory. Now, this one is available on Blu-ray, and it really is a great disc. Not only does it look and sound pretty good for an incredibly low-budget film that's over 30 years old, but you get a really fun movie. And inside the case, there's an essay in the booklet by a guy who's an expert on Star Crash. I didn't know such a thing existed. And he writes a compelling argument for why Star Crash is a great movie. And I'll be honest, it's hard to watch this film and read this essay and not sort of appreciate the true greatness of this effectively awful film. It's really low budget, but you do get a young David Hasselhoff, a gorgeous Caroline Munro in the lead role, and some really cool kind of Harryhausen-esque special effects, especially one scene in which our heroine fights a giant robot, and it's just fun. A few too many scenes of spaceships whooshing back and forth. Apparently that was how they filled in the time they needed to make it the running length, and it was cheap, so I could have done with a few less of those, but overall it's a pretty darn fun movie. Now, this is, of course, a features-packed Blu-ray disc, so your special features include an audio commentary by the Star Crash expert who wrote the book, look at the film's special effects with director Armando Valcauda, which includes unused footage, rare photos, original drawings, and more. A new interview with the film's writer and director, a new interview with actress Caroline Munro, and that's very cool. An extensive stills gallery, behind-the-scenes footage with commentary, deleted and extended scenes, trailer with commentaries by Eli Roth and Joe Dante. That's from the trailersfromhell.com website. The original script on DVD-ROM, and of course the 12-page book that I mentioned earlier. Next up, we have Night of the Living Dead Reanimated. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this, it is a new version of Night of the Living Dead. Keep in mind, the original Night of the Living Dead movie is actually in the public domain, which is why you've seen 400 different DVD and Blu-ray versions of it. This film takes the original film's audio and sets it to new animation done by over 150 different creators. So what happens is you get each scene of the movie basically recreated in a different animated style, from traditional hand-drawn animation to claymation to what's a little more than stick figures to fully blown CGI. Everything is in this one. And what happens is, as a result, it's kind of a pastiche. It's a very interesting experiment, and if you're a fan of Night of the Living Dead, it's certainly worth watching, but as far as a cohesive movie goes, it is not that. The continually changing animation styles every minute or so, it gets jarring after a while. It doesn't really allow you to kind of, enjoy the movie as a movie. But as a neat oddity in the canon of zombie movies, it certainly is interesting. Now, you get over 2 hours of bonus features on this disc, including an introduction, a commentary, a making-of commentary track, some extra commentaries from the artists on their segments, alternate and deleted scenes, some horror films and horror comics, behind the scenes of the animation processes, a live panel question and answer session, and a Night of the Living box art video, and a few other goodies as well. So it really is a good disc, and like I said, it's certainly interesting for fans of zombie movies, but it's not a great cohesive movie per se. Next up, we have two discs from the popular Red vs. Blue series. We have Red vs. Blue Revelation, Season 8, and Red vs. Blue The Recollection, Season 6, 7, and 8. And this is the comedy series based on the animation of Halo. It's one of the Machinima series, and I apologize if I said that wrong, where it actually takes the in-game animation from the Halo games and repurposes them into sort of a boot camp, Private Benjamin-style comedy with a bunch of bumbling Halo soldiers and two warring factions of them sort of tripping over each other and having, wacky hijinks ensue, so to speak. What's interesting about this series is it's actually really funny. It's really well written. There's some really good voice acting, and it's really sharp. Even if you're not a Halo fan, I'm not. Not that I don't like it, I just don't play the games, but it's a funny series. The humor isn't predicated on a knowledge of the Halo universe. Sure, there are some jokes that I'm sure I'm not getting, but overall it's an enjoyable series regardless of your knowledge of the games. Now, Season 8 comes with the usual array of extra features, which includes director's commentary, special videos and PSAs, the Red vs. Blue Holiday miniseries, outtakes, deleted scenes, cast interviews, and a visual effects breakdown. The Recollection, which includes Seasons 6, 7, and 8, on a 3-disc set basically includes all of the special features from each of the individual discs. So you get everything I just listed from Season 8, as well as the extra features from Seasons 6 and 7. Mostly it's commentaries, videos, deleted scenes, outtakes, interviews, and making of footage. So these are really great discs, although the collections, the season collections, are a little more worth your money because they're a little cheaper price points for individual discs. Next up, we have The Hunger, The Taste of Horror. Now, The Hunger was a short-lived horror/vampire series, an anthology series that ran on, I want to say it was Showtime. I don't get the pay channel, so I'm not sure exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was Showtime. And it's a vampire anthology. Every episode was a different vampire story. And the series was actually released on DVD before. This show was produced by Tony Scott and Ridley Scott, and it had a great group of guest stars in it, and so I thought this was an interesting release. What it is sort of a greatest hits compilation. 3 hours worth of episodes with some notable guest stars like David Bowie, Daniel Craig, Giovanni Ribisi, Terrence Stamp, Kate Black, Eric Roberts, and a few other people. And it just basically pulls out a couple of highlights of some of the 2 episodes basically from the series and kind of puts them together into almost like a movie type presentation. I guess that's cool because it's kind of a nice cheap way to get introduced to the series, but I would just rather buy the whole series and be done with it. So, but it's a decent show. The quality varies from time to time, but it's fun and worth watching on occasion. Next, we have the Slumber Party Massacre Collection, which is one of the greatest cheesy slasher flick series of all time. From the 80s, it starts off with a psychomaniac with a drill and ends up in the 3rd installment with a psychomaniac with a crazy guitar with a giant corkscrew drill pasted to the end of it. So there's lots of pretty girls, lots of TNA, lots of blood, lots of people getting mutilated in horrible ways. Basically, if you like cheesy slasher flicks, you will like this film. This 2-disc set includes all 3 movies. Don't look for any super big stars, although you will find a young Crystal Bernard pre-Wings in the 3rd installment. And special features include audio commentaries for each film, a new 3-part documentary, a photo and poster still gallery, and some theatrical trailers. Pretty cool overall. Next, we have 2 new Gamera double features from Shout Factory. We have Gamera vs. Guiron teamed with Gamera vs. Jiger. I apologize if I'm butchering these names. And Gamera vs. Gaios and Gamera vs. Virus. So that's 2 DVDs. Each one has 2 full-length films. Now, unlike the first Gamera Special Edition that Shout Factory put out, these discs actually include both the original Japanese audio plus English dubs. So fans who like the English versions better will be happy about that. As far as the movies themselves, you're getting 4 Gamera movies. It could be 1 Gamera movie, really. I mean, they're not terribly original. They are Gamera fighting various other space monsters and creatures and stuff like that. However, if you like Men in Rubber Suits movies and you like Godzilla, these are fun and they're cheap, and so they're certainly worth picking up. You get 2 movies for the price of 1, which is a nice bang for your buck, although be aware there are no extra features on them except for some photo stills and publicity stills and stuff like that. Finally, we have The Evil and Twice Dead. This is another Roger Corman Cult Classics double feature, which features 2 cheesy Roger Corman movies. And these are more of horror movies than science fiction. They feature kind of a sort of haunted mansion story, if you will, as well as another sort of haunted, although not so much haunted, story. They're fun horror films. You kind of have to like Roger Corman movies to get into these. You know, The Evil features Richard Crenna, so that's kind of nice to see an actual name star in one of these movies, because so often the Roger Corman movies either have super young name stars or nobody whatsoever. And the Twice Dead movie doesn't really have anybody too famous unless you count Todd Bridges from Different Strokes, so that's kind of a nice oddity there. Neither one of the movies is particularly great, neither one of them is particularly bad. You just kind of have to know what you're getting into. Either you like Corman movies or you don't. If you like Corman movies, hey, 2 movies for the price of 1. If not, then there's really nothing that's going to make you like these. Extra features on The Evil include commentary with the director, the writer and director of photography, and trailers, and then the Twice Dead, gives you an audio commentary, plus an interview with actress Jill Whitlow, and some trailers. So, you do get some nice extra features on this bargain disc.